I don't know if you guys have seen the new Johto map on Cerebi, but there are a few interesting additions to it compared to Gold, Silver, Crystal. For example, there is something past Sign Wood. I don't know what this is, but it looks like, you know, there are 6 squares of something that are joined together. I don't know what those are, but okay, a Pokefan, it's gotta be a Raichu! I thought it was gonna be a Pikachu, but a Raichu? At this point in the game, well, I think I'm gonna have to get out the heavy artillery. Okay, you do your quick attack because you're not going to live through this. Still, a Raichu from a random trainer at this point in the game, that was certainly unexpected, especially since Pokefans always seem to have Pikachus. Why are they called Pokefans then? Pokefans like all Pokemon, or at least some of them, but they're all stuck on the same Pikachu record. They should be called Pikafans, if anything. But back to that map, another noteworthy addition is a new building just west of the radio tower, and much bigger than the radio tower at that. Now, once again, I have no clue what this is. I could speculate all night long, except I can't because I don't have any ideas. I'm drawing a complete blank. But this is good news for me because one of the things I hated the most about Fire Red and Leaf Green is how it always tried to remain as loyal to the originals as it could, even preventing you from evolving stuff like Golbat until you got the National Pokédex. And I've said this before, but it's worth repeating, I hated that so much. So at least, maybe this time around they're going to let us have our cake and eat it too. And we could have our Togekisses and Yanmegas at a decent point in the game. And personally, I think it's pretty weird how the sun is still shining bright outside, and yet in the game it's already nighttime. But of course we're heading close to June 21st, so days are at their longest at this point of the calendar year. And likewise, when you're in December and it's already dark at 4:30 and you're playing the game and the sun is still shining, that's the same kind of thing. At least Diamond and Pearl and Platinum as well had that whole progressive. Oh, a phone call? What does he want? Oh, a rematch! So this is the same hiker that ditched me last time because I messed with the save file. So once I'm done with the national park, you can be sure that I will take advantage of that opportunity. And I was talking about, you know, in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, the progressive nightfall and sunrise, and I think that was pretty cool. That helped make the game a little more realistic. And judging from that speech, she's another Pokefan. Yep, so I imagine she's gonna... What? A Snubbull? Not a Pikachu, not even a Clefairy, but a Snubbull? I'm sorry, but usually Pokefans, when they aren't using Pikachu, which is already fairly rare, they at least use cute Pokemon. Snubbull does not qualify as cute. Have you ever seen a bulldog in real life? Or worse, a pitbull? Those are ugly as sin. To be honest, I have no idea why anyone would keep one, but I'm just going to show my tolerant side and say, whatever floats your boat. By the way, you may not have noticed that I didn't finish talking about the Smogon ladders because I ditched the subject in favor of the onslaught of Hard Gold and Soul Silver news, but I wasn't quite done talking about the ladders just yet. I have already covered the Suspect ladder, the Uber ladder, but there are a few things of note about the Standard ladder, and I'm sure if you check the list, then you've already noticed those things too. First, Heracross use is still dropping and dropping and dropping. Scizzor's popularity really hurts. Because naturally, it's not a very good idea to keep 2 offensive bugs on the same team, and since Scizzor is so much better, well, no one cares about Heracross anymore. And then there's the fact that Heracross struggles a lot against all the new threats brought about by Platinum, especially Rotom. Rotom is a pain in the ass to deal with for a lot of things that were extremely overused in Diamond and Pearl, but now they're used. They just fell off the radar, like Heracross did. Oh, here's a Quick Claw. Now I want to keep the Charcoal on Quilava, and it's much slower than the other two. So that leaves either Alakazam or Gengar. Not two guys who need the Quick Claw very much. So I guess once I'm done checking the place, I'm going to give it to Gengar since its base speed is a little lower. Once again, not that it's going to need it a lot, but once I get Lapras, then I am going to give it to it because, well, 60 base speed may not be enough sometimes, even in-game. But back to Heracross, there are people who are speculating that it might fall to the underused tier soon. Now, Heracross and underused are two terms I didn't expect to see put together in a sentence for a long time. Now, granted, this is mostly because of the whole underused revamp thing, but still. But I'll come back to it soon, since I'm done with the national park. I have a hiker to tend to, so I'll be seeing you on Route 33. It figures that I completely forgot to give the Quick Claw to Gengar, and as I said before, I'm going to give it to Lapras once I get it, but when the time is going to come to fight Whitney, I'm going to take it off Gengar, and I am going to give it to Bellsprout. Bellsprout is going to need it a lot more than Alakazam or Gengar, or even Quilava, who I really want to keep the Charcoal. And, wait a minute, I could give it to Bellsprout in order to try and get a Flash before Miltank inevitably kills it, but what if I gave it to Pichu or Togepi? Their charms could be just as useful eventually. It cuts attack in half, so yeah, that's interesting. What should I do? Should I give it to Bellsprout or one of the other two? Well, I'll let you decide, and whichever option is the most popular, I'll be giving it to this guy once I get to Whitney. So with that rematch done, there's only one thing left to do. It's finally time to head to the gym. Even if I wanted to procrastinate further, I couldn't, because every trainer across the land, at least the land that I can reach, well, every trainer has been defeated, so I can't really delay the inevitable even further. Even so, I wouldn't want to do that, because right now my team, I think, will have quite an easy time against Whitney. It's really over-leveled for this point, to be honest, and there's also the fact that I have two final forms with base stat totals over 500, which is always a plus. By the way, you may have noticed by now, but well, I can't call them walls, but I'm just gonna call them boundaries, because that's what they are, since, well, as I said, they aren't exactly walls, but those boundaries are shaped like a Clefairy, because that Clefairy really needs some love, too, because no one remembers the Clefairy on Whitney's team. It's always the freaking Miltank everyone talks about. Now, just to finish off what I was talking about earlier about the underused tier, to be honest, I am really looking forward to when the revamp will be completed, which looks like it's going to take quite a while, because right now, tiering doesn't mean a whole lot. You've got Pokémon who were formerly well inside the borderline tier, such as Slowking, Slacking, and Regice, and right now, they are never used! No joke! They are bottom tier! Those guys are not the definition of bottom tier! I am sorry, that's not how it goes! With that being said, there's one more Pokemon I want to talk about when it comes to the usage lists, but I don't have time for that, so I'll be covering this next time as I complete the gym, hopefully.